Hello everyone, it's Madeline Live today. Now I'm just waiting for some students to show up. Let's see, hopefully everyone can hear me. So I hope quite a few of you might have signed up for business etiquette today. Oh, that's much better. Hello.
Hello,
Hello, how are you?
I am fine, thanks. And you?
Fine, thank you. So you're my first person in my room today?
Yes, maybe some persons go later.
Probably. Some people will be a little late. That's okay. How was your week?
Good week.
Oh, good. Good. Very good. Okay, we have someone else. Hello, Alexander.
Hello.
Hello. Good to see you. Welcome.
Nice to see you too.
Are you eating? You
Can you
are
please
eating something.
repeat?
I have already eaten chocolate.
Oh. Can you send some my way, please?
Sorry.
I said, can you send me some my way chocolate? I love chocolate.
um, that's all. Sorry.
Too bad.
What's the weather like in your city now?
Um, Today it's a little wet. Um, just a lot of moisture in the air. -1, -2 maybe. What about you?
It's maybe 3 degrees above zero,
Oh, you're a plus. Okay. Okay.
and it's very windy and cloudy.
Okay, it's cloudy here. Also. Okay. Oh, hello, Valerie. How are you?
Hello? Do you,
Hello. How are you?
fine? Do
Good.
you hear
Good.
me?
Yeah, I can hear you. It's fine.
Uh,
Okay. Okay. Alexander, what about you? How's the weather in your city?
The weather in my city is about 1 degrees, um, and it's wet, and it's not windy, and there are a lot of water on the roads.
Okay. Valerie, what about you? We're just talking about weather for the first few minutes. How is it where you are?
do you hear me now?
Yes,
Yeah, I can hear you
yes.
fine.
Okay. Well, it's yeah, a bit muddy in Moscow, and it feels you can feel spring coming in the air. So today it's +4. So I guess yeah, we can feel the start of spring, but at the same time, I understand that in March it can be half winter, half spring. So you know, it's how to say, March is always a controversial month when
Yeah.
it's yeah, when it's spring and winter, still winter at the same time.
Yes, it is.
And
I
and where are you living, mm,
Me?
Madeline? Yeah,
I actually live in Ukraine.
yeah, okay.
Yeah. I'm to the south of you.
Live in Ukraine or live in United States?
No, I live in Ukraine. I'm from the United States. I'm currently in Ukraine.
Yeah. I hope it's peaceful out there, isn't it?
So far where I am, yes. So far where I'm located, it is.
It is in Donetsk, but not in other regions.
Yeah, and Donetsk and Luhansk.
No, I'm more to the west from there.
Yeah.
So, today I wanted to talk about business etiquette. First of all, I want to just ask you guys, when you're in a business meeting or maybe having a meeting going on a new job, what is common behavior? Or what is acceptable or maybe something that's not acceptable? What's acceptable behavior? Maybe meeting a boss for the first time. What do you usually do?
I didn't get question.
Oh, okay. When you are meeting your boss for the first time, what is common behavior? What do you do when you greet, for example, your boss?
Usually, I think about something, or maybe dream about something. Uh, what else? I watch what can be interesting. What I
I'm
can.
looking.
What else?
Maybe I should change my question.
Maybe.
Okay. Uh-huh. When you greet your boss, what do you do? Do you shake his hand? Is that acceptable?
Okay. If it's a marsrutka, we need shake our hands because they can not to stop and pass away.
Oh no, no, not bus,
Yeah.
not a
Boss,
bus.
boss.
Your boss at work.
But
At work.
Uh,
You understand now?
yes.
yeah. You normally give a handshake to your boss during the first meeting, but only if he offers you a handshake, of course. So I think that the initiative should come from a superior, from your boss. If he desires to give you a handshake, of course you should do it. So you should take your time, and you should be attentive, mindful, and not to be over energetic at the first meeting. So you should view the situation and be attentive to the behavior of your boss. So your behavior should depend on his behavior first of all, and you should respond to his words and to his behavior in a smart way. Well, yeah, that's what I think.
Okay. How about if it's a woman? Now, I noticed that men here shake each other's hands. If it's your friend, they shake hands. What about if it's a woman?
Well, here in Russia, well, in Moscow, women rarely offer a handshake, quite rarely. So you normally greet each other verbally, I think. Yes,
Okay.
there are a few women who like handshaking, but not so many of them.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, and
What do
it's pretty extraordinary if you uh, kiss on the cheek of a woman,
you?
your colleague, for example. For me, it's unacceptable, but some guys like kissing each other on the cheeks. I think it's
Some guy.
disgusting. Even
Okay.
if you're not very close friends, of course.
Okay. I think maybe sometimes it depends on the person, or the culture actually. the culture. I've met some girls from, for example, from Morocco, and every time they greet me, they kiss me on each cheek.
Mm.
From
Of course,
Morocco?
I'm a woman. Yes, I'm a woman. A man from Morocco wouldn't do it, but a woman from there would. So, I guess it's just like you said, it's a it depends on the culture, maybe. Yeah, and what's acceptable.
Yeah, it's okay. In Russia, it's also popular when women kiss each other on cheeks. So it's actually it's acceptable and it's normal for women to kiss each other.
Okay. Okay. So I prepared a few questions we can discuss about business, and I want you guys to tell me, what do you guys think? For example, um, if you're attending a conference and you would like to have the card of a senior executive that you meet, how would you get his card or her card?
Yeah,
I can get. Go on.
I would come up to that senior executive, maybe start a private conversation, perhaps, and ask politely for his business card. Mm,
Maybe
Go on. Um, do you think you should tell them that you need their card so you could remember their name? Would this be acceptable?
no, it's not acceptable to put it like this, that you need their cards only because you have got bad memory for names. It is impolite. Um, well, actually, it's a traditional business culture to exchange your business cards with your partners. Mm, Well, you can come up to them and start a conversation by asking some questions, and then at the end of the conversation, you normally exchange your business cards. Yeah, to it's normal.
Okay. Yuri, what do you think? How do you usually exchange your business card with
exchange.
somebody? Exchange your business card.
To visit this person and to exchange with him.
Yeah, but how do you maybe go about doing so? Do you walk up to them and say, "Oh, here's my card," or
I didn't know. Maybe to visit, to walk with him, or to speak him with, to go with him to a cafe and speak to him. This is my card.
okay, so you invite the person out first, yeah, and then get cards. Okay. Alexander, what about you?
I don't know. I'm not businessman. Uh, I can see shop assistants can offer cards of their um, company for with contacts for clients who can um, phone to this shop if they want to buy something.
Okay. Okay. Uh-huh. Um, so when you are okay, so Alexander, you told me you're not a businessman. Maybe I can just ask you then, what do you do? What is your job? What do you do?
As for me, I'm an analytical manager, so
Okay.
I normally
Interesting.
don't hold any negotiations. I don't meet anyone, other partners. So I just stay in the office and do some analyzing, do some reports. But
Is,
actually, I used to be a purchasing manager in the past, and I used to go on business trips, and I used to meet some business people, partners at exhibitions, and
is it difficult work?
it used to be a difficult work. Yeah, there were a lot of challenges and a lot of deadlines. So I used to work for Spotmaster, for example, for a
Oh,
few
okay. I know the
years. Yeah, for
company.
a few years, I worked in the office as a deputy head of one sales department. Yeah.
Right.
Unfortunately, due to the crisis in 2009, our department was shut down, and I had to look for another job.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm working for this current company, and I'm pretty. On one hand, I am satisfied because this work is steady and there aren't any major deadlines, so it's quite routine. But at the same time, it's maybe a bit boring job.
What
So,
kind of institute must be finished to work as a
pardon?
what kind of education do you have to work as a manager?
I've got economics education. I have got a major in world economics. And well, actually, I've got two higher educations, management and world economics. So I'm a manager and economist.
I have finished
I've got two
I have
diplomas.
finished this education in Russia.
In Moscow, yes, in Moscow.
Okay, and what about you? What do you do?
As for me,
Mm-hmm.
I give lessons for sailors. I give English lessons for sailors.
Oh, okay.
I teach them English for seamen,
For sailors.
for sailors, captains and engineers,
Oh, okay. Okay. That's
mechanics.
interesting. Okay. Okay. And
But
Alexander.
I
Mm-hmm.
want to have another job, more well paid, and I want to have own business. It's my dream. I have
Okay.
a business. I have a business plan, but not have a money to make this.
I see.
Yuri, are you an English teacher? Do I get it right? Are you a
I
teacher?
am not English. I give only lessons for sailors.
Ah, okay. You are a sales trainer. Yeah, salespeople trainer.
Yes, I am training mechanics and captains, engineers and captains.
Mhm. And Alexander, what about you? What do you do?
I work as a driver.
Okay.
I drive a car of company.
Uh-huh. Okay. Okay, so most of you then, well, at least, okay. Oh, but do you usually have business? Do any of you ever have business meetings?
No, I didn't have.
No.
Mm, well, I rarely have business meetings with my partners, our partners, because the head of my department normally does this job when he goes to the offices of our customers and holds negotiations there. But if he is ill and if he's on holiday, of course I have to substitute him. And it rarely happens that I go to the offices of our customers and have negotiations. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Let me ask you then. When you have a business meeting, for example, let's say it's at 9 o'clock. What time can you show up and still it's going to be considered okay? Every culture is different. I'm curious. Know where you are. If your business meeting is at 9 o'clock, what time can you show up?
Well, if it's 9 a.m., yeah, I suppose 9 in the morning.
Yes, in the morning.
Yeah, of course you shouldn't be late. No way that you should be late. I try to be 10 minutes before the due time. Yes, and in order to avoid any emergencies, and yeah, I try to show up beforehand, so to have reserve time for me. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So you have to be very, very punctual, of course, if it comes to business meetings.
Okay. No, that's definitely something for sure. Maybe where you are, you have to be on time. In some countries, did you know that if the business meeting starts at 9, you can show up as late as 10, and it's okay. This is more like Spain, Portugal,
Yeah.
South America. It is okay to be up to 1 hour later
Later?
than your usual. Up to an hour, yeah, late.
Yeah.
That is considered normal.
I know, but when they mean and they want other people to be really on time, they say hora inglesa, which means English time. So when they want others to be very punctual, not punctual according to their standards, but according to, English rules, for example, they say hora inglesa, English time, and everyone tries to come exactly on time after this.
Okay, all right. Oh, hello, Mihail. Welcome.
Hello,
We're
madam.
talking. We're talking about being on time for business meetings. What is acceptable where you are? Alexander, what about you? What's acceptable for a business meeting? If it's 9 o'clock, can you come at 9:15? Is it okay?
9:15. Oh, I think it's not okay.
Okay. Okay. Yuri, what about for you?
When I think it's good to call at 9 o'clock.
Yeah, to show up at 9 o'clock.
In the morning, maybe.
No, it is at 9 o'clock in the morning. I'm not talking about a 9 o'clock in the evening business meeting. I mean in the morning.
Yes, it's good.
Okay, to be right on time. All right. Miayo, what do you think? Right at 9 o'clock, 9:10, 9:15?
I think it depends on situation. If you have an important meeting when participate a lot of people, you need to uh, to, uh, uh, to go and don't late on it. Yes, but if it's not very important, you can, but it's not very polite, but you can do it. Maybe you need to tell your opponent on this meeting that you are busy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Um. Okay, when you're making a business introduction between two people, what do you think it's the most important? To say your own name and then introduce two people? Use the name of the most important person first in the introduction? Or repeat the names of the people involved in the introduction twice so they'll remember each other's names and the proper pronunciation of their names? if you are making a business introduction between two people, what do you think is most important? Say your own name first, and then the other two people, or introduce the most important first, or the other option to just repeat the names of everyone involved twice.
I
So
think introduce it in the first place and say your name in the second.
okay, so you think you should introduce the most important person first. Okay?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, very good. What do you do? Does everyone agree? Alexander, what do you think? You agree with Yuri?
Uh, I don't know how to do it right, and that's why I agree with Yuri.
Okay, okay. Mihail, what about you?
Mm, it's hard to say. I prefer to introduce people with me, and after that, but it doesn't matter. I think it's maybe we have some rules, but it's not very important. Who will be the first?
Okay, all right. Valerie, what do you think? Introduce yourself first, or introduce the most important person first, or does it matter the order?
Well, in my business practice, I haven't attention to this order, but I would rather choose that option chosen by Yuri. Yeah, I think that it would be wise to introduce to get the most principal guys introduced first. Yes, and then you should introduce yourself, just to show your respect to bosses, principal guys.
Okay, and you guys are all correct. Yes. In this case, you should introduce the most important person first. This is more maybe of an international standard than just maybe your local custom. If you are elsewhere on a business trip, it would probably be more appropriate to introduce the more important person first, and then yourself afterwards when making introductions. If you find yourself in this in having to do this. um, what about compliments? Is it considered acceptable to compliment someone at work or in a business situation?
Yeah, it's if you have got a female partner, um, I think it would be appropriate if you complimented on her look. Yes, how well she looked, and you can break the ice at the start of your negotiations. But of course, you should be careful with your compliment. Of course, this compliment shouldn't be vulgar, but appropriate due to the situation. And you shouldn't use your great sense of humor, because this ground is quite slippery and you can easily can get misunderstood, and not all people have got the same sense of humor as you, so your compliment should be mild and just a common compliment which men pay to other women. Yeah.
Okay. Um. So let me ask you this: when you make a compliment, maybe it's to a man or a woman, because maybe you like your partner's tie, for example, okay? Or maybe it's not about a physical thing. Should you do it in such a way that everyone can hear you? Or do you think you should be very specific?
I think
Uh,
it should be very specific.
okay, okay. Alexander, what do you think?
But I think it's better to make a compliment maybe for the place, or maybe some details of interior, maybe some certificate which show you I don't know, knowledge of this person. Yes, something like that. And maybe not about looking of this person. Yes, it's
Okay.
like, it's more close to business conversation. If you go to the place like looking, it's something another. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, okay. Yeah. Really, in business you should avoid personal compliments. It
Mhm.
should be about work. Um I would think that, okay, maybe you like this person's tie. Okay, it's just an example. You could say, "Oh, that tie looks nice with your suit." It's not a bad thing, but that's only maybe if you're really close to your coworker. If you don't know the person, then you would have to be more, "Oh, I really enjoyed the report you wrote about the environment." And then this would be considered an appropriate compliment in the business world. Okay, what about the opposite now? Criticism. How how do you feel about criticism in the workplace? Should you do it privately? Um,
I think it must be privately.
Privately.
Why, Yuri?
Why? He asked.
Because not everybody must hear about how the person criticized you.
But if nobody knows that this person working not good, they think it's okay, and for him it's a good situation, and he doesn't he will not make a changes. Well, am I right?
Well, some people decide just never to criticize people at work.
Mhm.
Some
It's
people
I
decide.
think
interesting.
I think criticized in a work it's not good way. Yes.
Well, to me, there is constructive criticism. Constructive. Do you know what this means? Constructive criticism. I'll even write it so you understand exactly what I mean.
Yes, we have a same word in Russian. The same. Pronounce.
Oh, is it?
Mhm,
Yeah, it's an international word.
mhm.
Oh,
Both
okay. Well,
both words are international in this
oh,
collocation.
okay, okay.
Mm.
So constructive criticism. Maybe this is okay in the workplace, yes, or never to say anything.
Yes, yeah. It's interesting to hear something from Valery about that.
Okay. Well, Larry, you're on the spot. What do you think about constructive criticism at work?
Well, I can raise both my hands for constructive criticism, of course. You should be open. Do you hear me?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I think that if there is a problem, it's better to be discussed openly, and there should be a meeting, and so all the co-workers, colleagues should be involved in the discussion, and of course you should show your that you are displeased with someone's performance, but not for the sake of criticizing him, but to show him or her his faults and how he should avoid making such faults, and what can be done in order to to minimize the negative consequences of some faults or mistakes. And so and there should be the head of these meeting and he should draw the conclusion at the end, of course, how to avoid such mistakes. And the criticized person, of course, should explain his position and explain why he did this or that, and if he agrees with other people, and if he does, then he should explain how he's gonna work in the future. Well, I mean that criticism should exist, especially in the company with your colleagues. You should openly criticize. It's better if you spread rumors, if you gossip with other colleagues about some colleague of yours behind his back. That's not that's criticism, but it's a very bad criticism. Well, you should criticize someone openly, yeah, and listen
At least
to
to
the
their face.
yeah,
Mhm.
and listen to the criticized person, and try to understand his position, so that can work out a constructive solution of the problem.
Okay. Have you ever been have any of you ever been in a position where someone criticized you behind your back? Have you ever had this
It's
problem?
hard to say because I don't hear it. Here, I think you can just maybe not guess something like that. Yes, like feel that somebody try to make.
We can guess because we can hear criticizes of other people. If they criticizes people who are not here, we can guess that we can be criticized too.
Okay. Okay. Yuri, what about you? You ever had the situation someone criticized you behind your back?
No,
No?
I have the situation only in school.
Okay. In school, I think it happens a lot. Okay, Valerie, has this ever happened to you?
Well, of course, I'm sure that I have been criticized behind my back. Of course, it's unavoidable. If you work for a company, there can't be any. Well, there can, all people can't be really pleased with your work, and it's really impossible. There can be people who might envy you and gossip behind your back, and well, you can't do anything about it really. So, well, I don't know
Mm.
what to say.
Okay, I'm just because see, this happened to me, and it was very difficult to understand because the person was like, "Oh yeah, I'm having a wonderful time and everything," and then the report came back to me later. They didn't like anything. I'm like, okay, well, if they don't tell me, I can't change anything. So criticism for me behind my back is very difficult because I always think if you don't like something, then say, I don't like it. Then the person can change it. If they don't know, they can't change. So
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it's best to just move forward about it. Okay. Okay, what about humor in your workplace? Humor. Um, do you think that it's every once in a while it's good to say something funny, maybe to relieve the stress, maybe show that your character, you know, you have a kind of an easygoing character. What do you think about humor in the workplace? Do you ever tell
Yeah, it's a
jokes?
good thing. Yeah. Humor is a good thing at workplace, but it should be really good, and clever jokes are welcomed at the workplace. But well, once I had a boss who joked all the time, and the jokes were just all the same. Every day. And he made a joke and looked at us and asked us, "Why aren't you laughing? I have just made a joke. Why are you looking serious?" And everybody had to laugh, no, at least to smile, to
Okay.
appreciate his joke. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he got offended if nobody smiled or laughed at his jokes. But the jokes were all the same every day.
Okay. Okay.
Just
Okay.
yeah, his jokes were trite, yeah, banal or trite, yeah? If there is such a word,
Yeah, maybe very old or
old-fashioned, yeah.
yeah, old jokes that don't get much. Okay, Yuri, what about you? Humor at work.
I think it must be
It's
because
what?
If you work in circus, it's okay. It's must.
Yes, okay. No, Yuri, you work with sailors. No, in English, we kind of have a saying, you speak like a sailor, and usually when you speak like a sailor, you're not using happy words. You're using bad words. So I'm curious, when you work with sailors, then do you use humor?
no.
You don't use humor.
Yes, we only speak about terms about sailing, about
Ah,
rules, about rules.
okay, okay. Um, Alexander, what about you? I know you told me you're a driver, so do you get a chance to maybe tell jokes or listen to jokes from different people in your car?
Oh, yes, it's more interesting when I drive not one with some passenger, and if they very joyful maybe,
Not very happy people,
they
huh?
and they can uh, tell some jokes, and it help not to sleep when you drive. Yes,
Yeah, I don't think you want to sleep on your job. That's very dangerous.
yes.
Yeah. Okay, Mihail, what about you? Humor.
I think uh, it's possible because you cannot. Sometimes you cannot do something without humor,
Humor.
but it depends on situation. You need to see and place these jokes to the right place because if you do it um, like all time, like Valery said, all time and retell it. Usually, it's not very funny and doesn't work. It work in a против, to opposite you. Yes.
Yeah, yeah,
Against you.
yeah, against you. Yeah, you get the opposite effect. I like to use humor, for example, because I like to tell my students personal experiences of me learning to speak Russian because I do have funny experiences with the language.
Mhm.
Yeah, and it makes them comfortable to understand that I understand that English is not always easy. And I explain because sometimes for me, Russian is not easy. So we have sometimes a funny story to tell about languages. And
Mhm.
it helps me communicate well with them in such situations. So yes, humor in the workplace is good. Of course, not too much, but
But some humor.
sometimes, yeah.
Alexander, you might make a joke to your passengers. For example, look, watch out, the brakes aren't working. The brakes are broken.
Yes, and sometimes I do joke like, "Oh, it's time to have a lunch now. I'm going." I'm going out.
Oh, it's lunchtime, yeah? Okay, let me just pull over. Okay. Okay, yeah. Every situation,
Yeah.
yeah. Yuri, we're gonna have to find something for you for your sailors.
No, not interesting story.
No, I said we need to give you a joke for your sailors so you can tell them a joke.
We need to maybe to find something with bad words for you.
Well, that's because, yeah, like I said, usually sailors use bad words. We have
Yeah.
an expression, you cuss like a sailor. It just means you use a lot of bad words.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You car as a seller or what?
Cursed.
Curse. So, sorry, I said
Rural.
let me type it because sometimes when you pronounce it, it sounds like this, cuss,
Mhm.
but it means curse.
Curse.
Curse. You curse like a sailor, or you cuss like a sailor. It's the same. Cuss is maybe a little more slang.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, but in speaking, you can hear either word
Mhm.
when people speak. Okay. Now, what about when people are angry? Because anger comes up at the workplace. What do you do? How do you deal with anger? Do you try to train yourself to deal with it and try not to talk about it during work hours or express it? Do you just
Not to have a talk, not to pay attention maybe.
not to talk? Okay. But what about when you yourself feel angry? Do you maybe train yourself to deal with it? Do you just speak your mind at any time? Um, or do you find some type of outlet for your anger? Like a walk during lunch, maybe counting, something like this. Anger at work. What do you do?
Yuri, what do you do?
When I was angry,
Yes.
Yes.
I like to go on badminton
Play badminton. Okay.
to
Okay, do you
play. And when you are training, you are not angry.
Okay, so this is good. You have an outlet for your anger. Okay. Alexander?
When I'm angry, I
I eat chocolate.
no, no.
Do you drive faster?
Um, yes, sometimes I can drive more aggressive, and usually I sh shout loudly to somebody, but I know that he won't listen me, uh, and I can tell him something rude,
Rude.
and
Okay.
after that I have a calm, and
Okay.
I'm calm.
Okay, so Alexander, you suffer from this. Road rage.
Road rage, what is it?
Road rage is what you just described. You're driving and someone does something and you're angry and you start yelling and you gesture with your hands. This is road rage.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's aggressive behavior
Yeah.
in the road.
Very aggressive behavior. Yes. Larry, what do you do when you're angry at work?
Well, I'm usually quite laid back, calm person. So I try to stifle my anger inside me and try not to show it. on the outside. So, but maybe it's it counterattacks me. Maybe it's unhealthy for me to not to give outlet for my emotions. But at my workplace, well, now it's okay because this work is quite steady and calm, and there aren't any serious cases, for showing your anger. But at previous jobs, yeah, there were some turbulent times, and it came to some disagreements, serious disagreements with your co-workers. Yeah, and then at that time I tried to think rationally. It was just due to my self-control, not to break into, shouting, crying at each other. Yeah, but frankly speaking, there were two cases, yeah, when I quarreled loudly with my colleagues. Yeah, and then I just berated myself for this. Um, ill will maybe on my part that I let myself into this bad behavior in the office.
Okay. Okay, Mihail, what about you? How do you deal with anger at work?
Mm, I have the same situation like Valery says, and maybe if you're very angry, uh, you can go home and don't show this. I don't know how to say it, like evil, something like that. But if you can, no, if you can, don't sit in. If you yes, if you can, don't sit in on the work. You can go home or to work.
We must maybe engage other activity to change activity.
Yes,
Okay,
but usually if you're angry, you work harder. If you
okay.
work harder and faster, you try to change something, maybe give the task. I think it helps sometimes.
Okay, but you have to understand, in my case, if I'm angry in an English lesson,
Mhm,
I talk too fast. It becomes a problem.
mhm,
So I can't really work harder because I think I'm working harder and my students are just like, what is she saying? They don't understand what I'm talking about. But I'm usually not angry at English ever, so there's never a time where I can say that I'm angry. I
mhm,
don't really deal with it. I was only angry in the situation before about criticism, but I
mhm.
just walked away and let it
When,
be.
when the person lying,
Huh?
when the person lying, it is sometimes short, sometimes angry.
Yeah, I was angry, but the situation, it was kind of behind my, I heard it through a third party, so I couldn't do anything about it. I was just told one thing to my face and told something else behind my back, so I couldn't even at that point say anything. I just let it be.
Mhm.
So in that case, I just let it go let it go. Okay, now sometimes you have gossip, yes, at work, maybe in the office. What do you think? If you listen to it, do you think that you are just as guilty by listening as you are telling? That you're not guilty, you're just listening, but you're not passing it on to anyone else? What do you think? And when it comes to gossip at work?
Think
Okay.
we not. I think gossip is very bad in the work.
Okay. Okay. Um.
Well, yeah, there was a class about gossip with another teacher, a few months ago. Yeah,
Okay.
with a guy who comes from Egypt, but he's an English teacher. So I think that gossip is unavoidable, and I think that everybody sometimes gossips about other people. It's unavoidable, yes, and so there can be gossip just for the sake of talking, making fun, entertaining yourself. And there can be gossip which can lead to serious effects, which can lead to taking some actions against that person who people are gossiping about. So if you just make fun, gossip, talk about someone, making jokes about him, it's one thing, and it can be not so bad, yeah, if you don't take any actions against him. Yeah, but if you from gossiping you take actions, you start doing some harm to that person, it's really bad.
Okay. Well, actually, there are different types of gossip. There's good gossip, which just means information that's true about somebody. It can be something as simple as, "Oh, she's having a baby." Okay, it's news, and technically it's considered gossip if the person you're talking about is not near you, but it's an actual fact. So it's okay usually. But um and then of course there's bad or ugly gossip when of course you are talking bad about someone or slandering them actually. Yeah. So what are your thoughts about gossip at work? It's Do you agree with Valeria? It's unavoidable. Everyone is probably guilty of it. What do you think, Alexander? Gossip.
Um, it depends on how to gossip. Maybe if they speak some interesting news, maybe it's uh, unavoidable. But sometimes people, usually women, talk a lot of
Good.
and nothing but gossip.
Sometimes. Yeah, I agree. Even as a woman, I agree. But there are some men who gossip just as much as women. Sometimes. I'm amazed how much. Okay. Yuri, what do you think?
Yuri, what about the sailors?
Yeah,
Are
do you guys gossip?
yeah.
Maybe some of them are taking gossips.
Something about something about maybe how biggest как волны waves or something like that. No.
Maybe
Yeah. Mhm.
I didn't know what are they gossips because we are not speaking about it.
Yeah.
Ah, okay. They don't gossip. Okay. Mihail, what about you?
I think like Valery. Uh, it's things which have place in our life, and you need to see if somebody maybe um, tell you or try to tell you too much not interesting information, you can maybe tell him that you are busy now and don't listen it.
Okay. Yeah. Make some excuse. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. And I know at least for Yuri and Mihail, who were at my talk about idioms, if you guys want to gossip about somebody and you don't want them to understand you, you can just use idioms, and people won't. A lot of people might not understand you after that.
Mhm.
For those of you who were at my idiom lesson I had.
I know the proverb, but not remember. As gossip as I don't remember the last word. As gossip as
I was saying you now know how to use idioms, remember? So now, if you want to gossip about somebody and you don't want them to understand you, you can use idioms. And that maybe they won't know what you're talking about. If you wanted to gossip.
Yuri, you need to remember all this word combination.
Yeah, the word combination. So, that, gentlemen, is our time for today. Thank you for coming. It was nice talking to you a little bit about business ethics, things that happen in the workplace,
Thanks.
viewpoint
Yeah.
about it.
Thanks a lot.
You're welcome. I look
Thank
forward to
you.
seeing you then in the next week, or even maybe before then. So,
I remember it's on Wednesday.
Wednesday. Yeah,
Yeah.
Wednesday. So,
See you.
look forward to seeing you all. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.